Start with contracting sprites. Chapter 251, The Dumb Unicorn Can Finally Shoot. That was the unique skill plant growth of the wood element. It was not controlled by the wood element and the range was not big. It only had a radius of 3 to 4 meters with the vine demon as the center. The vines grew several meters long. They were thick and strong, coiling and intertwining with one another. In just a moment, the skeleton of a small vine castle was constructed. At this point, the vines were still growing. What classmate Zhao Yingxun used was a stable defensive counterattack strategy. His choice was very correct. Against the water element water cloud horse, the shell fortress built with strong vines is enough to make it invincible. In the broadcasting hall, Huang Tianli briefly and succinctly explained the few unique skills that had been combined into constructing the vine castle. This allowed quite a number of spectators to understand the situation. Among them, even if many were high school students, university student sprite trainers, or social sprite trainers, they were still confused just by looking at the battle scene, until the commentator analyzed it for them. They immediately understood. A series of 666, awesome commentator and other comments floated up on the screen. Let's analyze that water cloud horse again. At Venue 3, the audience seats. The vine demon is preparing, and the water cloud horse is also accumulating momentum, said an instructor from Dragon City University. Another instructor raised his glasses. After all, the skeleton of the vine castle was built in an instant. If the water cloud horse attacked immediately, it would be very difficult for it to break through. Instead, the vine demon can easily seize the opportunity and defeat it. Right now, it is constantly accumulating power to create a battle environment suitable for itself. This is indeed a good method. The instructor with the glasses looked at the command tower on the right. That freshman named Su Hao has good command skills, but the difference between the first and second evolution types is just too big. A bit of tactics can't make up for it. Both of them were instructors in charge of collecting intelligence. When they saw this scene, they couldn't help but laugh. Looks like Su Hao is indeed just a student who's training through the league, not a trump card. It's very normal. How many people in the history of the entire Dragon Nation are natural-born domainers like Lan Qing? On the command tower, Su Hao looked across to the other side. Vines interweaved continuously, turning into an airtight plant castle. The vine demon hidden inside could no longer be seen. Suddenly, the vine castle shook slightly, and emerald green blade leaves shot out from inside. Unique skill leaf blade flying daggers. The blade leaf cut through the air and hit the low-hanging dumb unicorn. Nay! The dumb unicorn cried out as its body was surrounded with mist. In an instant, it wetted the blade leaves that flew over. Those sharp blade leaves turned into rusty iron weapons, hitting the water blue shield weakly before falling. When Zhao Yingxun saw this, surprise gradually appeared in his eyes. A mere water cloud horse is actually so strong. When he saw the mist gradually covering the vine castle, he immediately issued a command. Absorb the surrounding water vapor, and then... Energy ball! An emerald green energy ball flew out with a whoosh. It was fast and accurate, sealing off every dodging space one after another. But what kind of unicorn was the dumb unicorn? It had undergone multiple infinite energy ball training under Boss Butterfly, and also used the equipment at the special training camp to test its defense and train its dodging abilities. It had even died countless times in the real illusion. After undergoing special training of blood and tears, it could even dodge a few energy balls with its eyes closed. The footsteps of the dumb unicorn passed through the seal of the energy ball, and in a moment, it appeared 10 to 20 meters away from Vine Castle. It raised waves of water and blasted them forward. At the same time, thick vines shot out of the castle and hit the waves with the sound of tearing air. Splash! The water stream exploded and the vines broke through the waves like snakes and dragons, strangling towards the water cloud horse. In the face of the menacing vines, water mist turned into a 7 to 8 meters tall dragon around dumb unicorn. The dragon roared and collided with the incoming vines. Splash! Boom! In the broadcasting hall, the two commentators were very surprised. This doesn't make sense. Huang Tianli glanced at the live stream comments. They had already changed from awesome commentator to. He felt a strong sense of mockery. He composed himself and continued, that water cloud horse is very outstanding in cultivation. It was given extremely high basic attributes, which allowed it to temporarily block the vine demon's attack. Even so, with how the water cloud horse is dodging, as long as it makes a single mistake, it will immediately lose the battle. As for the vine demon, its real body is still hiding in the castle. Therefore, I still foresee the vine demon gaining victory. The cultivation of the dumb unicorn was, of course, perfect. But with the restriction of the form ceiling, a water cloud horse naturally wouldn't be able to win head-on against a second stage evolved vine demon. But it is a water unicorn beast now. Although its form is restricted as well, its upper limit is far higher than the water cloud horse, only slightly weaker than the cloud water dragon horse. Su Hao's cultivation of the dumb unicorn had always been tackling at its foundation. It didn't master crushing killer moves like the Dazed crow or the big fat bear. But in terms of basic quality, it wasn't much worse. It didn't swallow all those water element treasures for nothing. If it had swallowed them for nothing, Su Hao would have to stew that unicorn. The battle continued. The water cloud horse kept moving, while the vine castle was still impregnable. Is that frost? In the audience, a sharp-eyed sprite trainer spotted the flying vines being covered in layers of white frost. At this point, the white frost was already very obvious. Zhao Yingxuan also noticed it. Is the temperature outside dropping rapidly? And my vine demon couldn't notice the change in temperature at the first moment because it's protected in the vine castle. Zhao Yingxuan's expression became solemn when he saw the vines quickly turning back into frost even after shaking off the fragments. His sprite couldn't effectively deal with large-scale freezing attacks. He could only order the vine demon to continue attacking the water cloud horse regardless. Attack and defense positions have been reversed. Siu Erong said very quickly. Originally, the vine demon was in an invincible position, but now, if the vine demon can't heavily injure the water cloud horse before it's frozen, the person who loses is Zhao Yingxuan. The fault is not Zhao Yingxuan's carelessness. Who would have thought that the ice element unique skill used by a non-ice element water cloud horse would actually be so powerful? Because of his wrong prediction, Huang Tianli was a little embarrassed and added, I can only say that he's indeed a top student of Whale Island University. Even an ordinary sprite has unexpected performance. His eyes stared at the screen. In just a few seconds, the vine castle was covered with a thick layer of white frost. The vines shot out of the castle by the vine demon also obviously slowed down in terms of speed. The frost turned into a layer of ice, and the ice continued to spread. In the blink of an eye, the whole castle became frost white, and the waving vines were stuck in mid-air. Like a statue. Every audience in front of their televisions and computers couldn't help but exclaim. Outsiders felt that it was powerful and magnificent, especially under the analysis of the commentators. They understood how difficult it was for the water cloud horse to win. They all started commenting what the F***ck. The experts were shocked by the power of the water cloud horse. It turned water into ice, and it wasn't even injured now. Crack! 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 After freezing for a moment, cracks appeared and spread rapidly across the frozen sculpture. In an instant, the entire sculpture shattered with a boom. At the same time, the intertwined vines that were as strong as fortresses broke apart. Together, they became ice shards. Wait, the judge didn't announce the winner yet. As he spoke, the ground under the water cloud horse cracked open. Several green-purple vines flew up with a whoosh and firmly bound the unprepared water cloud horse. At this moment, people watched the figure of the vine demon appear under the broken ground. Not far away, there was also a hole under the collapsed castle the vine demon had long shifted. What a beautiful battle tactic! Mr. Zhao Yingxun made a perfect comeback by escaping, Huang Tianli said. But before he could finish the word attack, the water cloud horse broke the binding vines into pieces of ice which dropped in all directions. Cracking sounds could be heard loudly. Then, came the howl of the vine demon from below the ground. Water pillars shot up into the sky from the hole, like sharp blades constantly strangling the figure inside. In the mist, a horse stepped on the waves and went over. Carrying a terrifying power, it bumped right into the vine demon wrapped within the water stream. Boom! The vine demon fell heavily to the ground as gravel flew everywhere. The dumb unicorn, which destructive power was relatively more limited, didn't let its guard down. Instead, it continuously used unique skills. Water bullets, water arrows, and water dragons roared as they bombarded the fallen vine demon. It cracked the surrounding ground inch by inch, causing it to sink down. It only withdrew its gaze reluctantly when the judge called for it to stop. But it was still somewhat unsatisfied. It had been a target for too many times, but it rarely had opportunities to hit the target. Nay. Chapter 252, Big Fat Bear, working hard to defend because it's too afraid of pain. Whale Island University, Su Hao wins. Whale Island University, Su Hao wins. The judge waved the flag down. He had already said the same words for the third time. At this moment, a death locust lied on the field, unconscious. Its whole body was covered in ice slag. As for that charming water cloud horse, it was still making neigh and neigh sounds as it ran around happily. However, it was also injured. In the previous battle, the discerning audience discovered that the spiritual force of that water cloud horse was almost exhausted. It just looked very energetic on the surface. On the field, the judge said, "The next contestant from Vine Demon University, please go on stage." The fainted death locust was brought down. Another person received the relay stick and carried the hopes of countless people in his school. He boarded the command tower and looked at the water cloud horse with hatred. He wanted to win cleanly. Revenge for his teammates. Suddenly, the person opposite made a stop sign and said, "Ah, you guys are too strong. I lost. I can only entrust the rest of the battle to my teammates." The audience inside and outside the arena. Vine Demon. Wait a minute, finish this round before you leave. But Su Hao still left, leaving behind a handsome back view, just like when he came. Whale Island University, Xiao wins. Whale Island University, Xiao wins. There was naturally no suspense in the battle, but the contestants switched from Su Hao, who could make young ladies scream, to the plain and ugly student Xiao. Whether it was the two commentators or the other audience, they all felt that there was something lacking. 4 battles on the first day. The schedule of the dumb unicorn was full. There were a total of 11 battles in a day. There were no accidents, of course, they all won. When the dumb unicorn was more or less exhausted and couldn't take down its opponent anymore, Su Hao jumped off the command tower first. Well, because the dumb unicorn had already suffered enough blows on ordinary days. It didn't need to be defeated again for it to grow. As long as there were opponents with diverse battle methods and opponents who were evenly matched to give it experience, it was enough. The dumb unicorn is already at the limit of elite level now, but it's limited by its form. It's very difficult for it to break through to extraordinary level. Originally, according to my estimates, it might take 3 to 5 months, or even a year, to break through the extraordinary level bottleneck. But he discovered that a battle of the same level was not extraordinarily beneficial to the dumb unicorn. Continuously spamming a certain sprite wouldn't do, as there were no new tricks. Su Hao did a quantification. For the same opponent, the first win would give it 100% experience. For the second win, there was only 50% left. For the third win, the experience value might fall to less than 20%. Therefore, he needed to paint more sprites with different battle styles. Su Hao felt that he had already found the key to dumb unicorn's breakthrough. On the second and third day, they went from Venue 3 to Venue 2, and then to Venue 5. Dumb Unicorn's information was already widely known. It was good at dodging, the effect of its cold air was very strong, and so on, but the Dumb Unicorn was still able to secure 1 to 3 wins. Our opponent today is Three-Headed Hound University. Most of their ace sprites are fire element. Mentor Ma looked at Su Hao. Who's going first? He asked as per usual, and the other team members expressed one after another, Junior Su Hao shall go first. In their hearts, the female seniors obviously had to support such a handsome junior if he was going to be the first contestant. The male seniors recalled that a while ago, Junior Su Hao had pointed out some problems for them. The problems with their extraordinary level ace sprites actually made them improve a little more. It was simply awesome. With such an awesome junior like Su Hao and a very awesome butterfly fairy. What else could they say? Of course they supported him. In any case, since Su Hao was the first to go on stage, they would have a chance to go on stage too. I have to fight to be the second contestant. The team members looked at each other, sparks flying among their eyes. Nay. In the lounge, Dumb Unicorn was full of fighting spirit. Su Hao suppressed it. The protagonist of today's battle isn't you anymore. Hearing this, the dazed crow reacted unexpectedly fast. It jumped in front of him and waved its wings. Squawk squawk. It said I can. But no, you can't. The one going on stage today is Big Fat Bear. Where's the bear? In the corner, Su Hao found the bear. Just as he was playing with Butterfly, behind them, the white bright night spirit was learning with its big, curious eyes. Su Hao walked closer step by step to the back of the big fat bee ear which was sitting on the floor. He stood on his toes, reached out, and pulled the bear's ear. Howl! It roared out the rage of its bear clan, but when it turned around and saw Su Hao, it froze. Sob sob sob. Get ready, it's your turn. The big fat bear stared at the game and made sobbing sounds. When Su Hao saw the results 0-9-3 on the big fat bear's tablet, he gave Butterfly a look. Gurgle. With its hands on its hips, it told the big fat bear righteously that it was time for the league. The big fat bear could only put down its tablet reluctantly and hand it to the bright night spirit. Butterfly glanced at him. Good, it seemed even worse, gurgle. The sound of the judge telling the members of both teams to get ready could be heard outside. Su Hao looked at the big fat bear, touched its soft hair and said, materialize the Thunder God battle armor first. Howl howl. Bear couldn't resist so it could only learn to enjoy. It nodded. Howl. It stood up and spread its arms wide. On its body, balls of lightning emerged like a paintbrush, and gradually outlined the majestic appearance of an armor. Thunder God Battle Armor Fusion. Sizzle. After the lightning dissipated, the big fat bear was already dressed in solidified armor. The armor covered the whole bear, only revealing its eyes under the helmet. The big fat bear patted the armor and looked down foolishly to observe before nodding in satisfaction. Unlike other unique skills and secret manuals, it cultivated for 1 day and slacked off for 2 days when practicing meat bouncing Thunder Ball, but it was serious when practicing Thunder God Battlesuit. After nurturing it day and night, the Thunder God Battlesuit was finally strengthened to level +11. Not only did it have strong resistance and annihilation abilities against physical attacks and energy attacks, most importantly, after putting on the armor, the sprite wouldn't get hurt when others hit it. A woo! Howl! 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 The fully armed big fat bear walked out of the lounge step by step. Mr. Su Hao has changed his sprite. He went into battle today with a thunder roaring. Huang Tianli picked up the information. Let me take a look. Thunder roaring is the 4th sprite that Mr. Su Hao contracted. Its ability may be cough, cough. He wanted to say that the thunder roaring might not be as strong as the water cloud horse, but he felt that the bear was pretty strong, especially when it was wearing armor that he couldn't understand. Huang Tianli swallowed the words that were about to come out of his mouth. He analyzed the pros and cons of both parties seriously. Mr. Li's elephant general attacked. It used its unique skill, Energy Ball. The elephant general leaned on its heavy hammer, and in an instant, earth-yellow energy balls appeared in front of it. They flew out with a whoosh. There were a total of 5 balls, sealing the space to dodge from all directions. The water cloud horse could dodge, but it was impossible for the cumbersome thunder roaring to dodge all the balls. Li shouted in his heart and stared unblinkingly. He saw how the energy balls collided with thunder roaring before exploding into countless smoke clouds. He swung his fist down forcefully, the inadvertently curved corners of his mouth showing the excitement and joy in his heart. But the next moment, when the dust and smoke had dispersed, the armored bear remained standing where it was. And it was unharmed. Chapter 253, Unrivaled Might. On the field, the big fat bear opened its tightly shut eyes and let out a soft howl. It lowered its head and looked around in surprise. Then, it stretched out its hand, swung it left, then turned again. It shook its legs and jumped on the spot. In the eyes of Three-Headed Hound University's Li, it was plain mockery. I've already given you a chance, but why can't you hurt me at all? Energy Ball, accumulate power. He ordered, and the elephant general on the field pointed its heavy hammer forward. A continuously spinning energy ball appeared and expanded rapidly from the size of a fist to the size of a watermelon. The energy contained in it was more than a dozen times that of an ordinary ball. Elephant General, who had finished gathering the energy ball, didn't throw it out immediately. Instead, it held the energy ball and walked forward step by step. That exquisite unique skill control received many praises from the audience. When it was 10 to 20 meters away from thunder roaring, Elephant General stopped. Seizing the opportunity, it suddenly threw out the accumulation energy ball. In an instant, the ball arrived in front of the bear and exploded abruptly. Boom! It was just one ball, but the power of the explosion was much more violent than the 5 energy balls that collided together earlier. Thick smoke and dust filled the air, and countless broken rocks flew out. But before Li had time to be pleasantly surprised, he saw a huge shadow appear in the faded smoke and dust. Its arms were placed in front of its body, and its body sank half a meter as the ground cracked, but as long as one had eyes, they would be able to clearly see that the armor on Thunder Roaring didn't have a single crack. How is this possible? Even sprites like the lava dragon turtle can't possibly be unharmed under the accumulation energy ball. What exactly is the armor on its body? This question was not only asked by Li, but also by others. Especially the viewers watching the live stream on the internet. The comments were already exploding, they wanted to understand the reason from the two commentators. But Huang Tianli and Siu Erong were also confused. An elite-level thunder roaring. They didn't even consider the possibility of solidifying weapons. Consider the equipment nope. Consider the unique skills nope. Consider the secret manual after considering for more than 10 seconds, nope. This is too much. Too much. Were there any heavenly kings present whom they could connect? The audience outside the arena could be confused, but on the field, Li couldn't. He gritted his teeth and said, that armor definitely has a weakness. Let's switch to close combat tactics. The elephant general moved quickly, running around thunder roaring continuously as it raised waves of sand. Unique skill Sandstorm. Under the cover of the sand and dust, the elephant general, which was originally a stone body, was even harder to find. It finally seized an opportunity and flashed to the back of thunder roaring. With both hands holding the heavy hammer, it leaped high and smashed down heavily. 100% killing skill, backhead attack. Li, who was connecting with his sprite using sprite commandeering, visual sharing, couldn't help but light up his eyes. Bang! The heavy hammer fell and the helmet shook slightly. The elephant general who just leaped up froze in mid-air. The next moment, Boom! Countless thunder arcs bloomed, and their destructive power was transmitted along the heavy hammer, enveloping the stone body with dense thunder arcs. Instantly, the elephant general flew backward at a speed faster than when it came. It flew out of the sandstorm range, and smashed straight onto the ground, creating a dent more than 10 meters long. When he looked again, the elephant general, which was wearing a stone armor, was charred all over its body. It struggled and tried to sit up by supporting its elbows on the ground, but it kept falling down heavily halfway through, and then it stopped moving. At this moment, the sandstorm that had lost control gradually dissipated, revealing the tall figure inside. The big fat bear scratched its helmet and let out a howl, seemingly a little confused. "Why did you fall when I hadn't used any force at all?" The whole place was silent. Both the audience present physically and the audience watching the live stream couldn't help but click their tongues. An elephant general, which was already at the limit of elite level, was killed by a sprite of the same level? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, if they didn't clearly understand that the elephant general wasn't weak and was instead very strong, they would definitely think that this was the funniest joke of the year. But no one laughed. The people in front of the TV and computers were kneeling as they watched. The audience burst into an uproar. More and more people rushed over from other venues after hearing the news. They wanted to see the thunder roaring with their own eyes. On the field, the battle continued. The second contestant who went on stage was surnamed Chen. He summoned a three-headed hound. When that huge dog with 3 heads stood up straight, it reached the height of an adult. Its 3 heads roared and spat out raging flames. In an instant, it covered half of the arena and enveloped thunder roaring. Can it succeed? Many spectators asked. The thunder in their eyes was like a great demon king, enveloping them with an indescribable pressure. It made them somewhat eager to see how the 3-headed hound could break through the despairing defense of thunder roaring. Unfortunately, 30 seconds passed. The big fat bear was as still as a mountain in the flames. 2 minutes passed. The big fat bear in the flames scratched its helmet and took its first step, the second step, and the third step. It kept moving forward. The energy on its Thunder God battlesuit extinguished the flames around it. When it stepped out of the sea of fire, it looked back. It had cleared a straight path from the hell of fire created by the 3-headed hound, which previously consumed a lot of the hound's energy. Seeing how the terrifying bear was constantly approaching, the 3-headed hound lowered its body, bared its teeth, and glared fiercely at its opponent, letting out fierce roars. You, don't come over. The battle today was rather slow. Apart from the first battle against Elephant General, Su Hao had let Big Fat Bear fight for entirely 5 minutes in the other battles. It resisted the enemy's attack head-on and ground the Sprites to death with its devastating defense and the destructive power of its Thunder God battlesuit. In the blink of an eye, it was already the 5th round. There are already many mottled traces on its armor. The 3-headed hound university's instructor said. The defense power of that thunder roaring has weakened a lot. The previous battle has proven it. Now, I'll leave the final battle to you. Even if he's a student of Whale Island University, we can't be beaten through by an elite level. No matter how bad it is, we have to perish together with it. At this point, the Thunder God battlesuit of the Big Fat Bear was indeed seriously damaged. In each of the first 4 battles, it had used the Thunder God battlesuit to resist countless attacks it didn't want to resist, but Su Hao forced it to do so. Even the bear was desperate. Sob. The big fat bear turned its head and looked behind. Its eyes were watery under its helmet. It was asking if it could attack now. Su Hao thought for a moment. The attacks received by the big fat bear are very beneficial for the enhancement of its Thunder God battlesuit. However, the consumption of the battlesuit is almost at its limit. There's no need to really let the big fat bear get beaten. If it could overcome its fear of pain just by taking a beating, Su Hao would have beaten it long ago. Unfortunately, it couldn't, so there was no need to let it cry. All right, he said. The big fat bear immediately started howling. When it looked at the fiery blaze bull opposite, its gaze turned different. At this moment, the fiery blaze bull, which bore the hopes of the entire school, spewed out flames from its nose. The flames reversed and shrouded its body. With rolling red flames, the fiery blaze bull charged. Flaming charge! It dashed on the ground at an increasingly fast speed, as the flames burning on its body became fiercer and fiercer. Like a heavy lorry speeding at high speed, the fiery blaze bull shrouded in flames bumped straight into the thunder roaring. With a determination to never return. Moo! Countless people and countless pairs of eyes landed on the two sprites. They kept comparing and analyzing. In terms of killing power and destructive power, the fiery blaze bull's flaming charge was definitely ranked at the top among the elite level limits in the league. Could the thunder roaring, which was good at defense, block this terrifying attack when it was seriously exhausted? Could thunder roaring stop it? Instantly, the bear on the field moved. But its hands weren't protecting its body, nor did it attempt to dodge. Instead, it slowly raised a bare paw, and in an instant, lightning exploded, leaving behind only the dazzling and eye-catching lightning in its field of vision, as well as the sharp sizzling of electricity. Bang! A dazzling light flashed across. The fiery blaze bull flew backwards and flew out in an arc through the air. It smashed onto the ground like a broken sack as its whole body was charred black. Instantly, there was dead silence both inside and outside the arena. Chapter 254, The Last Day of the Group Competition. The fiery blaze bull had already become a black bull. It laid there motionless as the electric arcs lingering on its body gradually dissipated. At this moment, the armored bear put down its paw, turned to look at the judge, and let out a howl. Fiery blaze bull loses the battle. Whale Island University, Su Hao wins. After the judge announced the results, waves of heated discussion broke out in the dead silent venue. On the live stream, the screen had no comments due to shock. In an instant, countless comments flew out, densely packed, as they covered the whole screen. What the FCK, what the FCK, what the F***CK, X999. Doesn't that Thunder Bear major in defense? Can someone tell me what just happened? Replay? Where can I replay it? Even the ordinary audience was shocked. The instructors and students from various schools present at the scene were even more speechless. According to their thoughts, since that Thunder Bear possessed defense that made people despair, the unique skills and secret manuals it cultivated would definitely be for defense service. Besides, that Thunder Bear had clearly fought 4 rounds just before, it should be worn out, right? In those 4 rounds, the Thunder Bear had clearly relied on defense and counterattack to defeat its opponents. But now, what exactly happened? At this moment, amidst the thousands of calls from the audience, the replay finally appeared. The scene from before was shown on the big screen in the middle of the venue. The fiery blaze bull slammed over, bringing with it rolling red flames. But at this moment, when the Thunder Bear raised its paw and dazzling lightning burst out from its palm. Like tofu colliding with stone, the thunder palm easily pierced through the red flames, hollowing out a part of the fire, before directly hitting the charging fiery blaze bull. In an instant, the dazzling lightning flashed so brightly that even the slowed-down version of the replay couldn't be seen clearly. The audience only saw how the red flames surrounding the fiery blaze bull were extinguished by countless thunder streaks. Then, the fiery blaze bull was sent flying like a fly after a slap. The audience. What should they do? They were more confused now. Huang Tianli's eyes widened as he watched the scene a few more times. Its strength and explosive power are both very strong. Its unique skill Lightning Electric Palm has also been cultivated to a very profound level. But most importantly, its lightning is too strong. It's fundamentally more powerful than the red flame. In fact, he couldn't understand how an elite-level thunder roaring could master such a high-level lightning. That quality level seemed to be much more terrifying than his thunderous Pig King's lightning. It can only be attributed to a thunder bear with excellent talent and perfect cultivation. In the past, I wondered why student Suhao was able to enter Whale Island University's school team. Although his water cloud horse isn't weak, it's just not weak. After seeing his thunder bear, I came to understand. Although it's an elite level, its battle power has long surpassed the limits of elite level. If it can break through to extraordinary level, it'll definitely be a terrifying behemoth. It's a terrifying potential sprite. The discussions and countless gazes gathered outside the arena made Big Fat Bear a little excited. It found the recognition and sense of accomplishment that it couldn't get in games. It raised its arms and looked around. After howling for a while, it left reluctantly after the judge chased it away. Battling in front of the audience seemed to be pretty good. Howl. Then hurry up and recover your Thunder God battlesuit. There are still 3 battles today. Its sprite trainer said. The big fat bear which was jogging forward froze and turned its head in a daze. Howl. Howl. The high school league was in full swing. Suhao sent out his sprites to farm some experience bags according to his plan. He mainly sent out Dumb Unicorn and Big Fat Bear. Little Bright Knight was too weak. It could be defeated by any sprite on the field. Butterfly was his trump card, he had to hide it. There was no need for it to participate in the league. It just needs to occasionally battle the ace sprites of the other members in his school team to accumulate some battle experience. As for the Dazed Crow. You want to go on stage? No, giving you the experience bag is too wasteful. The Dazed Crow didn't have as much talent as the Big Fat Bear, nor did it have a VVIP-13 hack, but its battle power wasn't much different from the Big Fat Bear. If the 2 sprites fought, the chances would be about 4 to 6. But when Big Fat Bear went on the field, it could use the other party's sprite to polish its Thunder God battle armor and strive to complete +13 enhancement. As for the Dazed Crow? If it went, Suhao could imagine. Squawk! Its flaming blade would win instantly and the Dazed Crow would finish its round. That's it. With its current strength, it didn't even need to activate Sun Stance to deal with the aces of those school teams. Battling wouldn't benefit it much. But looking at Crow's dazed and somewhat pitiful look, as if it was abandoned, Suhao could only console it. Cultivate well. It's not that I don't want to send you on stage, but the opponent is too weak. You won't feel the knife when cutting tofu. Only by slashing rocks and steel can you feel the effect of the blade, do you understand? The Dazed Crow seemed to understand. After thinking for more than 10 seconds, it nodded. The order of the group battles wasn't random. Instead, they placed the battles between prestigious schools and key universities at the back. The further they went, the more exciting the battles became. All kinds of secret techniques and sect tactics emerged endlessly. It was the last day of the group battles. At Venue 1, in the audience seats, Suhao placed his hands on the armrest and looked down. The 2 teams caught in a battle were respectively from Fiery Bird University and Black Dragon University. They were all strong teams. The standard of Black Dragon University was second only to the prestigious schools, also referring to the top 10 sprite universities in the country. At this moment, a black dragon and a 3-headed hound were fighting. They are both at the limit of elite level, but the 3-headed hound right now is much stronger than the one which got tortured to death by the Big Fat Bear. It can probably withstand 3 blades by the Dazed Crow. There were many spectators around, and the information presented in the eyes of each spectator was different. The ordinary audience only saw the first level, the strong and weak exteriors. The instructors and students of the various schools saw the second level, the unique skills of each sprite, the directions they were good at, the secret manuals they had mastered, and the methods the sprites used in response. But Suhao saw the 5th level. The data of the 3-headed hound appeared in his eyes. It gradually became more detailed. Well, the unique skill of the 3-headed hound is so powerful because it has mastered a flame compression method. It seems to be an exclusive secret manual, worth 8 intelligence points. After discounting 6 points, should I buy it? That Black Dragon's water pool chessboard seems to be something worth learning too. He touched his chin and analyzed the two sprites with a learning heart. I'm very serious about this. Fiery Bird University vs Black Dragon University was a battle that gained top 5 attention among the group battles. Nothing unexpected happened, Fiery Bird University won and the battle ended. Black Dragon University didn't send out that extraordinary Black Dragon. Some spectators were disappointed. It's very normal. If Black Dragon University sent out that ace, Fiery Bird University would definitely send out an extraordinary. The final winner would still be Fiery Bird. The result is the same, but the intelligence of its ace would be exposed. If I were the leader of Black Dragon University, I wouldn't do it either. Hiding one hand while throwing out their trump card at the elimination round is the standard practice of the league. Those who knew the industry well said. In fact, others also understood that any team which could steadily perform would hide their trump cards tightly. Even the 3 prestigious schools with 2 extraordinary level sprites had yet to send out a single extraordinary level sprite in the group battles. There was nothing else to be proud of. Famous schools had the pride of famous schools. Since their opponents were all elite level sprites, then, they could also crush them with elite level sprites. The next round at Venue 1 is Dragon City University. Su Hao wanted to stay, but he glanced at his cell phone. Mentor Ma just sent him a message. It was almost their turn. Our team won't be short of people even if I don't go back, but I remember the opponent for the next battle is Yunhua University, Advanced Experience Bags. He weighed the pros and cons and felt that it was more valuable than watching Dragon City University's competition. Then, he put his cell phone back into his pocket and walked out of the venue. Towards him walked a girl with long black hair. She brushed past him and quickly entered the venue. Su Hao stopped in his tracks and frowned as he pondered. Why do I feel like she looks a little familiar? Chapter 255, The Fire Crow appeared, the battle ended. Ordinary people wouldn't look familiar to Su Hao. Only girls with special dispositions and good looks could make his brain memorize them a little more seriously. Although girls were valuable, experience value was more important. Eventually Su Hao chose to torture those noobs. He went all the way to venue number 3, Whale Island University's lounge. A few seniors, who were already familiar with him, smiled and asked when they saw him, "Junior, did you find out anything?" They were just asking casually. After all, during the group battles, the aces of the various schools were all hidden. However, Junior Su Hao thought for a moment and stretched out 3 fingers. Fiery Bird's captain, Gong Gai Tianrui, possesses a secret manual that can compress flames. Fiery Bird's third contestant is tall, broad, and is good at sandstorm tactics. I suspect that those sandstorms can be ignited and turned into firestorms. The second contestant of Black Dragon University. After a pause, Su Hao added with some regret, after all, many official members didn't go on stage. I can't say for sure how different their ace sprites are from ordinary sprites, so I didn't find out much. Didn't find out much? Didn't find out much? It was only a battle of more than 10 minutes, and the battle was all between second and third tier sprites. Was he really planning to strip his opponent clean? Junior Su Hao, what kind of eyes do you have? Is it a plug-in accessory that can be used immediately? Can we still buy it? The seniors were shocked and numb. While feeling numb, Mentor Ma took out his cell phone and sent a message to his colleague at Venue 1. He asked him about the battle that just ended. Fiery Bird University had actually exposed so much information. A certain instructor who was scouting for information at Venue 1 looked at the content on his cell phone and was stunned for a moment. He typed 3 question marks in the message box and sent his reply. In the lounge, Mentor Ma was confused, so he just remained confused. He looked at the 10 contestants in front of him because they were facing Yunhua University. They finally managed to bring all 10 contestants together. He asked, Who wants to go on stage? Who wants to go first? Captain Wang Qi glanced at the others. I'm volunteering, and I reckon all of you want to go as well. So, let's fight with the old rules. I can't give up on the advanced experience bag. 10 people, 7 boys and 3 girls, looked at one another. Electric sparks collided. At the next moment, they took out their cell phones and threw their die using the function in the chatting app. 6. 5. 5. I'm indeed a beluga. Even if cheating is not allowed, I can still win the first slot. Su Hao's eyes widened. He saw a senior throw 6, 6, 6 and 2 seniors throw 6, 6, 5. He started to doubt his beluga's ability. I was clearly waiting for this high-level experience bag for such a long time, and I clearly threw such a high score, but why did it become like this? A female senior who threw 6, 6, 6 became the first contestant. The first contestant on the opposite side was also a girl. Her looks were slightly better, so this attracted the hostility of the female senior. Under a series of indiscriminate attacks, the senior won at the cost of medium injuries. In the second round, the senior lost and a male senior replaced her after winning a rock-paper-scissors game. With a larger advantage, he won 2 rounds. When he was up against the 4th contestant from Yunhua University, he finally lost. At this point, the contestants on both sides were Yunhua University's 4th contestant vs Whale Island University's 3rd contestant. Su Hao took a look and felt that he had some chance to go on stage. Should I hope for senior to be defeated, or defeated? Don't be careless, said Mentor Ma. It's hard to say whether there are extraordinary level sprites in Yunhua University, but the team captain of Yunhua University has a very strong gargoyle dragon. That sprite defeated an extraordinary level in a battle yesterday. The gargoyle dragon of Yunhua's captain was only elite level. But it was very strong. The stone armor on its body was so strong that it was only a bit weaker than Big Fat Bear's armor. Apart from that, it also had ghostly flame breath. It wasn't a unique skill, nor was it a secret manual that could be mastered by just cultivating, but it had fused with a very precious high-level fire seed, allowing the gargoyle dragon to deal explosive damage. In the battle yesterday, it defeated the ace of an ordinary university, an extraordinary Thunder Lion King. With a slight advantage, the ordinary university team was ended by relying on the winning streak of an extraordinary sprite. That Thunder Lion King was lucky enough to break through to extraordinary. It's relatively weak, but it's also an extraordinary, said Mentor Ma. To be able to counterattack and defeat an extraordinary gargoyle dragon, we have to focus 120% on dealing with it. As expected, after Senior Tong Shang defeated the 4th contestant from Yunhua University, the captain of Yunhua University directly summoned his gargoyle dragon, which intelligence had already been exposed. The dragon roared and spread open its grey wings. It circled in mid-air, blocking the sunlight and casting endless shadows. Senior Tong Shang sent his master hound. Unlike Li Songting's master hound, which was cultivated in a different direction, his master hound was small, thin, and agile. It walked the path of high attack like his ace sword thorn assassin. Its speed was extremely fast, leaving countless afterimages on the field. It could even temporarily pause in the air, seizing the opportunity to leap onto the gargoyle dragon. Good. Mentor Ma couldn't help but clap. But the next moment, ghostly blue flames lit up on the gargoyle dragon's body and then spread to the master hound. The master hound, which had originally intended to attack, released his grip and jumped off the dragon in pain. It kept leaping in the air, but was continuously followed behind by the faster gargoyle dragon. The ferocious dragon opened its mouth and spat out dark blue ghost flames. Whoosh! The master hound shrouded in ghost flames fell from the sky, flashing like a meteor. It lost. Although the master hound is indeed weaker than the gargoyle dragon, it lost too easily. It exceeded Mentor Ma's expectations. It wasn't impossible for sprites with battle power similar to the master hound to defeat 3 sprites in a row. At this point, Su Hao had received the baton from Senior Tong and boarded the command tower. He spread 5 of his fingers wide and thought for a moment, before showing 2 fingers. Thud! Thud! Flames appeared outside the command tower. A dark red fire crow covered with flying sparks on its feathers appeared in front of everyone's eyes. It's the flaming spirit crow. The Yunhua team captain secretly heaved a sigh of relief. If his opponent was that Thunder Bear, he felt that there was only a 50-50 chance of winning. But if it was a flaming spirit crow, the chances were very high. Because there was a limit to elite level. The invincible battle power of that Thunder Bear came from its own talent. It was very likely to be a descendant of a high-level sprite, and it also had special opportunities. The reason behind his gargoyle dragon's invincibility was due to a huge fortuitous encounter. They were all irreplicable. No matter how they were cultivated, it was impossible for other elite-level sprites to have battle power that exceeded their limits. Fly up, ghostly flame breath! The gargoyle dragon spread its huge wings, like a demonic dragon descending upon the earth. The dazed crow was also flying in the air, in a daze. Never in its wildest dreams did it expect that the one who went on stage today was actually itself. Squawk! It shook its wings, and in an instant, flames flowed as it flew over too. Clang! 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 Whoosh whoosh! The 2 sprites chased after each other, attacking and dodging. The dazed crow's saber slashed out countless red lights, hitting the gargoyle dragon with crisp sounds as countless gravel spewed out from its thick stone armor. The ghost flames of the gargoyle dragon were of a different nature from ordinary flames, and it made the dazed crow extremely wary. The 2 sprites exchanged a few rounds. Countless attacks brushed past the 2 sprites and landed on the ground. Rumble! The whole arena was damaged until holes and scratches could be seen everywhere. Ripples also constantly appeared on the surrounding enchantment. That crow is actually this strong. The Yunhua team captain looked up. Countless audience members looked up too, their gazes fixed on the 2 sprites. The 2 sprites had flew high into the sky so the audience could only see 2 black shadows intertwining under the sun, blocking the sunlight. Suddenly. What is that? The bright light dazzled their eyes. Everyone saw another flaring and blazing sun appear in the sky. The 2 suns shined together, causing people to close their eyes involuntarily. Roars came. Explosions rang out continuously. When everyone forcefully opened their eyes and looked up, they saw a huge black shadow fall weakly from the sky. Then. It was a gargoyle dragon. What exactly happened in that second just now?